Lovely. She's so well spoken, isn't she? Mine's going to be a little bit different than that. I'm sorry. Okay, so what is Fire Up Ministries? How do we sum it up? I want to start by saying every time. So I've come from working for Charbel Race full time, helping with the tours and the CDs. And every time, I would hit Charbel say, Simon, how you feeling for this tour? We've got Everett's coming, or Christopher West is coming, Tim Staples coming. I was like, I'm fired up, mate, pumped, can't wait. And then when I spoke to Charbel and I said, when we actually prayed about me setting out on this independent ministry, still very much in partnership with Perusia Media. And I came to him and I was saying at the time, I think I was saying a novena to pray for the name of our ministry. And I met with Charbel and he just kind of said it, he just kind of blurted it out like it was a normal thing. He goes, you always used to say that you're fired up, just call it Fire Up. And the second I heard it, I was like, Fire Up it is. So thank you, Charbel. I can't even take the credit for what my ministry's called. Charbel, thanks for that, mate. Yeah, give him a clap, good on you. So I would like to thank, why are we even here? Why am I doing this? First of all, we have to thank our families and our parents for passing on the faith to us. That's where it started. Then we've got to thank, obviously, our schools, our RE teachers, those that passed on the faith to us. But in a very special way, I do need, and I could probably give a whole talk just on Charbel Race and Perusia Media, I've got to try not to. But I've got to thank the work, that incredible 5 years that I spent working full-time with Charbel as my mentor, my teacher, my father, in a sense. And I can honestly say as my best friend, Charbel Race, everything I know about ministry, everything I know about partnering with people, working with people to build up the kingdom, I've learnt from Charbel Race. That time at Perusia, and still, even when I come to see him now, I still fall into saying, if I'm talking about Perusia, I'll say, how are we going? I still feel I'm part of the family. I've always felt part of the family, and I always will be part of the Perusia family. But that time at Perusia, hearing these tours, just one after the other, from years ago, hearing the best speakers in the world, they set a fire. It started with Tim Staples, and then when Jason Everett came, I'll never forget this night. I can actually pinpoint the night my life was changed. I don't know if you remember this, Jason. I don't blame you if you don't, but I remember you. Okay. It was May, get this ready, what's the date today? May 17th. It was a Wednesday night at St. Charbel's Parish at Punch Bowl. A talk organised, Nathan Azzi's here to represent us, okay? That represent St. Charbel's. And Charbel organised the talk. Here comes Jason Everett. I had heard Jason Everett at World Youth Day in Sydney when I was 14. Unfortunately, my heart was not ready to hear the message. I wasn't ready to be transformed. I wasn't ready to make the changes I needed to make. However, on this night, it was Wednesday, May 18th, 2011. Here comes Jason gave a talk, and he said a line that changed my life forever. He said that pornography is the surest way to shoot your future marriage in the head. Now, I bet you remember saying that, because you always say that in every talk, right? He always says that line. I go, oh, that's the one that changed me. That's the one that got me, right? When I heard that line, I had stuffed all of my desires for marriage as a 19-year-old man down because of a porn problem I had. And when Jason said those words, something in my heart finally said, no, I really do want this. And it resurfaced. And I remember I went and spoke to Jason after the talk that night. And I remember saying, Jason, I don't even believe love exists anymore. I don't believe marriage exists. I don't believe love is real. And I won't go into it, but he gave me an answer that simply said, he said, do you play sport? I might as well tell you now that I'm here, right? He goes, do you play sport, and what foot do you use to kick the footy with? I said, I'm right-footed. And he goes, okay, so the left one's going to be a bit harder, but if you practice with your left foot, you're going to get better. And he said, in the same way, it's like we've got 2 feet that kick love or kick lust, and the more you practice, the better you're going to become at loving or at lusting. And I went home that night changed man completely. I didn't stop the sin straight away, but my heart had chosen freedom, and I had started that journey from that night. So in a very real way, I've got the 2 men right in front of me tonight that are really responsible for why I am here and why Fire Up Ministries exists. Please give a very big thank you to the work of Jason Evett and to Charbel in respective ways. All right. So that's the introduction. I'm going to give the talk now. So, what have we done since 2000? I'm going to be quick. What have we done since 2017? We started Fire Up Ministries early last year. I want to thank. We've got a couple of priests here, Father Guy, Father John, and we've got Jeff as well, he's almost there, from Our Lady of the Rosary Parish, St Mary's. Out in Western Sydney, okay, for those of us that live out there. That parish is on fire. It is absolutely on fire. I love going there. And through the priests, they're here tonight. You've already clapped them, that's great. But they have provided Fire Up Ministries with an office where we work out of, where we go to Mass there every day, where we're able to have them on call for confession, for spiritual guidance all the time. And they're very, very supportive of any good thing like this. And it's exciting to share as well that in the actual, within the parish of Our Lady of the Rosary, we've now got a shop front for Perusia Media as well, which is just highlighting the partnership again between Fire Up and Perusia Media. Every Wednesday night, Fire Up runs a young adult faith formation group. Can anyone that's ever attended that group stand, please? Okay, so this is the core team. This is the core team of Fire Up men and women. We meet every Wednesday. We do prayer nights. We get guest speakers. We've had Charbel Rachin. Okay, so they're a great team, and they are constantly helping and supporting us in our ministry. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you. So what do we do every day? What do we do every week? I asked Jason Evett about 3 years ago. I sent him an email. I thought, I'm going to email Jason Evett. I'm going to go and contact the big man himself, and I'm going to ask him for some advice. And I said, Jason, I want to be a speaker. I want to do what you're doing. I want to impact people the way you impacted me, because you changed my life, and if there's a way I can help someone else be impacted the same way you did me, then I want to be able to be that person for other people. And Jason Evett said, if you're not willing to fast for 1 million people, and if you're not willing to pray for 1 million people, then God will never let you speak to 1 million people. If you're not more willing to fast and pray for the people, and honestly, as the best speaker I've ever heard in my life, the humility that was really shown in this email. Jason said, souls are not saved because of the great talks I give. He didn't say great talk, he said because of the talks I give. Very humble, okay? I kind of slipped the great in there. I think they're great, okay? But he said, they're not changed by the talks I give. We're talking about someone that speaks to 100,000 people a year, and almost every single young person I know that's active in the church can in some way trace their conversion back in Sydney to a talk by Jason Evett. And Jason says, it's not the talks I give that are changing lives, if they are being changed. He said it's the prayer and fasting that actually has come before and after that talk. And so I took that advice on very seriously, and I know that as a full-time speaker and in ministry, I have no right. In fact, all of us, if we are in a role of evangelization, if you're not praying every day, please don't say anything. Okay, we're only going to be a hindrance to the Holy Spirit if we're not backing up everything we're preaching with prayer and fasting. And so much of my day and much of our week is spent in prayer and formation. I am working on the fasting. Last year we gave just under 100 talks to just under 5,000 people, which for me was very exciting, and we had a great opportunity to speak at ACYF, where we spoke to 1,500 people, and that was the biggest group we'd ever done, and it was a real buzz. We're just starting to put more, some more content online, again through the partnership with Perusia Media, where I'm finally getting in front of that camera. We're going to start some videos on YouTube. We're writing more articles. Start putting some online talks up for free. These are the things that we've just started to do. Now that's just a little bit of a summary of what's been happening over the last year and a bit. But a little bit later on in the evening, after we've heard from our keynote speaker, I do, if you don't mind, I'm going to come up, whether you mind or not, I'm going to come back up again, okay? But I'm going to come up and I want to share a little bit about what is our hope for Fire Up. What do we feel God has been putting on our hearts to do? And this is a big reason why, we put this night on, is because we have a lot of hopes and dreams, and we've got a vision for where we think the Lord wants us to go, but we do need your help in order to make that vision come true. So I am going to come back a little bit later in the evening after we've heard from Jason Evett, and I'd like to take that opportunity to share how you can get involved directly with our mission. Because maybe I've heard a lot of people say, I could never go into a high school and talk about what you talk about. I could never do what you do. But really, in a very real way, with whatever your skills or with whatever gift you may have, when you give that gift to a ministry, any ministry, to Fire Up, to Perusia Media, any other great list of ministries around, then you are the hands and feet in the schools and in the parishes. By giving your gift, you are contributing in a way maybe unseen, but above all, everything is seen. Okay, God sees everything that we do. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I want to thank you very much again for that, and I hope you do have a great night. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.